Back inside another episode of SVG SportsTech On Demand. Brandon Costa from Sports Video Group. Have the pleasure now to be joined by Patrick Markey. He is a Director of Business Development and Media for Sportlogiq. First off, Patrick, hope you're doing well. We were saying, wish it was under better circumstances, but nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you as well, and hope everyone's doing well on your end.
All right. So
appreciate the time.
Yeah, of course. For the audience, Sportlogiq, what do you guys do, and how does artificial intelligence fit into all of it?
Yeah, so the headline is we are an AI-powered sports data analytics company. And AI is a pretty, catch-all term these days. So let me just kind of speak to what that means for us. So the AI portion of it essentially means it's allowing us to power the analytics around and find patterns in what the data we collect. The computer vision part of what we do is ingesting video, be it broadcast video, in-venue video, and collecting all the data points that go with that. So your box score level information, your event information, but also your player tracking information, where someone's on the pitch, where someone's on the ice, and then also the physical metrics as well. And so the computer vision part of that allows us to scale it at a much larger or greater level than you can do with manual, trackers and intervention.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to track athletes when they're not on the field or the court. So in what ways has the company needed to pivot, and how have your conversations changed with your clients at all in light of the recent pandemic situation that we're in?
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is a pretty unprecedented time and very surreal, even outside of sports. I mean, I think everyone's trying to figure out what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And I think in the broadcast realm too, that's certainly the case, right? I think the big question and big challenge that broadcasters have, and anyone in the media space has, is how are we creating content right now? How are you filling the space? There's no games, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing, as far as on our end, and we're still working with our clients in a lot of different ways and trying to get creative in how we're doing it. We're looking at past games, historical games, trying to find interesting performances. One of the things we did recently was in hockey. We have a lot of passionate people that are hockey fans based in our headquarters in Montreal. And we looked at the 1993 conference finals between the Leafs and the Kings. It did not go the Leafs' way, but it is one of the, Gretzky calls it one of his best performances ever. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of looked at player performances and wrote up editorial and stories around Gretzky versus Doug Gilmour, and looked at, different performance metrics that weren't, available 27 years ago. We're also looking at doing interesting things around and creating content gaps, such as player ratings, and maybe tying that into the EA Sports NHL 2000 based off our player metrics, reevaluating the players, and then potentially running a simulation, a playoff simulation for the NHL if there isn't a playoff. So, it's trying to get creative. There's a lot of passionate sports minds, and that helps at Sportlogiq. But, also talking to our clients too and seeing where we can help them, and, ideas that they have that, we may not have thought of.
Yeah, that Gretzky stuff sounds fascinating. You'll have to send that to me. I would love to check that out. I'm kind
Absolutely.
of a hockey guy myself. So what's in the pipeline for you guys? I mean, obviously a lot of analytics is tied towards sports betting. That's the conversation these days. And sports betting 2020 was launching prior to the start of the coronavirus situation. Assume that it will come back once sports just come back again. But what do you guys have in the pipeline that maybe supports the continued emergence of betting in that regard?
Yeah, so I mean, on our end, we're really looking hard at predictive analytics and storytelling around data points that will help determine or predict the outcome of the game. And so we have a lab, we have a research lab in Vancouver. PhD data scientists are looking at this stuff daily. That's their job. And so they're looking at on the field metrics and rating players and different lineup combinations and saying, with this guy out or this person out, an injury, what the roster makeup looks like, how that might impact the game. Also looking at like play types and styles. Does that have an impact on the game? So really looking at a lot of that sort of thing that could be applied not only to odds makers, but to affiliates in that space. There's obviously here in North America and specifically in the United States, with the changing of laws state by state, I think there's a big interest on the media side too, on how they can serve that audience and how they can tie that into their broadcast without necessarily overwhelming with that message.
All right, Patrick. Well, we really appreciate the time. Best of luck with everything you and the company have going forward. And we certainly appreciate the work that you guys are doing in helping keep even the archived sports video content really interesting and exciting at this point.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thanks for the time. And we're just hoping for a quick return to normal life and action on the field soon.
Absolutely. Well, he is Patrick Markey, Director of Business Development and Media for Sportlogiq. You can find out more about them and many of the other companies that we've talked to in the SVG SportsTech On Demand series right now over at sportsvideo.org.